and welcome to a new project. The project is this dress. It is Vogue 1864 and it is a wrap dress basically, very similar to the Butterick Walkaway dress. This is pretty much Vogue's version of that, so I thought, well, I've done the Butterick one, I want to try the Vogue one. However, I want to do it in a fabric that is suited to England weather, shall we say. This is a wool blend, and of course it's in checks that require pattern matching. Hopefully these won't be too bad because it's not like plaid fabric, it's just squares. Maybe that's easier? I don't know. Maybe that's harder. I don't know. But I got this fabric here in England. I actually got it in Manchester at a fabric store called Abercan. I absolutely loved this shop when I went in. Like, the whole downstairs area of it was just buy fabric by the kilo, which is what this is. So I don't actually know how much fabric I have. I am hoping it's enough. Like, it looks like a pretty hefty pile, but it is also a thicker fabric. And this is a vintage pattern, which means big skirts. So fingers crossed we can get it all in. All my pieces are cut out. There are skirts, pocket, neck binding, my front and back, and this is all I had left. But I do also need to make some bias binding to go all the way around the edges of this once it's all put together. So just enough, and this back skirt wasn't quite as big as it was supposed to be because I could only get so much of it on in a fold, but there wasn't enough unfolded to do two of it separately, so it is what it is. We'll see what happens when I put it together. And the first step is to do darts in the front and back before putting those together at the shoulders. Bodice is together at the shoulders, and I have just pinned on the binding, which I need to stitch down and then turn and stitch again on the inside. And normally I would press this in between those steps and press up this edge, but I don't have a iron where I am, so no iron, no sewing machine. It's an interesting time. It is a fair bit later, if you couldn't tell by the change in lighting. Everything takes so much longer when you are hand sewing. But it's a nice activity for a Sunday afternoon, which it is for me right now. My top bodice section is together in that the shoulder and neck is finished, and that is pretty much all that gets done on the bodice until it gets attached to the skirt, which I am doing now. So I need to attach the front first, I believe, and then the back, actually then the pocket to the back, and then the back. It's easier while everything's flat. My skirt part is attached to my bodice part. I would press this open, but as I said, I don't have an iron. But now I've got to stitch around the little buttonholes that were left in this seam. So because it is a wrap skirt, the back panel buttons and wraps in here. It is Tuesday morning here and I have about half an hour before I have to head out to college. And I wanted to see if I can get my pockets ready to go on my skirt before I head out. So I don't really know where I last was at this dress because the last time I picked it up was 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I think I was on the pockets, but things have changed since then. And one, I've moved locations because one little room in a shared house was driving me insane. So I have moved and this has been packed away in a little bag for a while. But as well as that, I have borrowed a sewing machine. I've got my pockets prepared and ready to be pinned on to my back skirt, which seems wrong. I'm like, why are the pockets going on the back, which is going under the front? But they're hidden pockets in some way, something like that. I don't know. I'll see what it looks like on the final product. But before I put the pockets on, I've got some darts to put in. Darts are in and pockets are on. It's time to attach this back piece to my back bodice. Everything is now attached with this dress, both skirt panels to bodice. I'm just on to finishing it off. The back panel, where it has this little overlap section, that just gets finished with a double roll hem, which I love. And then the front section gets bias binding all the way from the bottom of the skirt around the armhole to the waist. Now got a pieced together strip of bias binding using all my scraps, and I'm going to put it all around the front skirt and bodice. The bias is on both sides. And I could do the whole flip it under and stitch in the ditch, but I'm really not very good at that and I don't enjoy it. So I'm going to go back to my hand sewing and sit up on my couch that I have now because I have so much space and just enjoy some peaceful hand sewing. Alright, it is now the next weekend. I don't know why I think I can get things done in such short amounts of time. And then I also think that I will totally do stuff during the week while I'm at college in the evenings. But really, by the time I get back, I make dinner and I go to bed. Like, there is no extra energy left after a day of sewing and pattern making and problem solving. There's nothing left to do little bits. But I am close. I need to hem this and then attach some buttons and a hook and eye, which I have because I went out yesterday to get them and I found these cool buttons that I thought, well, that is perfect. It's a black and white checked button. So that's all I need to do now.